Creating escape room style experiences in your classroom is so much fun. Something magical happens when we can tap into that mystery and wonder. And sometimes it's just those little changes that can totally reframe learning in a classroom. One of my favorite ways to create an escape room experience is through a Google form. In this Google form, I have clues to unlocking the Midwest. So you can see that I have created a banner that goes along with my theme for the Amazing Race. That is a whole other episode that I will share another time. And then you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different locks that students have to solve. So let's see how this form is created. Now, I am looking right now at the student view. If I click over here to the teacher view, this is what the form is going to look like to me. Now, if I click on this first lock, I want to draw your attention to a few things. First of all, to create this lock, I needed to make sure that it was a short answer. You're going to notice that my lock has a simple clue, Cornhusker State. And then below it, it says that this is a 2-letter abbreviation, all caps. In order to create that description, I needed to go down here to the bottom 3 dots. Click on that and it's going to say description and response validation. Now these choices are only going to come up if you choose short answers. You need to make sure that you've selected that type of a question. This right here where it says 2-letter abbreviation all caps, that is the description. So that is indicating what kind of a lock this is. The response validation is the second really important part of this escape room activity because it is going to allow you to create the exact response that you are looking for in order for the form to be submitted. So you can see down here when I click response validation, these different features are going to show up in your question. When I click on this drop-down menu, it's going to give me choices. This lock could be a number, a text, a length, or a regular expression. I want it to be a text lock, so I'm going to click text. It is going to contain these 2 letters, capital N, capital E for Nebraska. I also created a response for teams that do not get it correct. It's going to say try again. And I want to make this a required question. Now let's scroll down to the second question so that we can see this in another lock. This lock says this state capital is also a president. This lock is all caps. It's a text lock and it contains the word Lincoln, all caps. And again, I have a response if that question or that lock is not solved correctly. So you are going to go through each clue that you have created and go through the same steps. So again, I want to make sure that I have short answer selected. I want to have some type of a clue so teams or students are going to know what they're looking for. I want some type of a description so that teams or students are inputting the information correctly. I want to make sure that my description and response validation are clicked on because if they're not, I will not be able to write that description and I will not be able to create the response validation down below. I am always going to decide if I'm going to make this a number, a text, a length, or an expression. I am almost always going to have contains because I want it to say a very specific thing. For this clue, the code is sauerkraut. And then I want to have some type of response so that they know if they did not get it right, it's going to say try again. I also want to make sure that the required switch is switched on. Now I'm going to go to the student view. When I go to the student view, this is what they are going to see. So they look at this first lock and it says Cornhusker State. They know it's a 2-letter abbreviation, all caps. Now, if I was to type in the abbreviation WA for Washington and clicked enter, what is going to happen is it is going to show the students that that answer was not correct. So as soon as I click on it and I click off to another question, it's going to say try again. Now, if I put in NE for Nebraska, now it's going to select it because it has not turned red and it is not saying try again. So now we go to the next lock. This state capital is also a president. So if we were to put in, let's just say we are going to say Washington. It is not correct because when I click down below, it says try again and everything turns a shade of red. Now, if I was to put in the word Lincoln, now I know it's correct because it is not turning red and it does not say try again. So students are going to go through each answer and put in their response. And once they have put in all of their responses, it will allow them to submit their form. So when I click submit, it is going to say, congratulations, you've unlocked your first Midwestern recipe. Click here on this link to begin preparation. When students click on that link, it is going to bring them to the Runza recipe that they are going to be preparing that day. So a really fun way to do an escape room that is really fairly simple. I mean, you could have a worksheet and have them answer questions, but how much more fun is it to allow them to tap into that curiosity and wonder? So have fun, and I can't wait to see what type of escape room experiences you create using a Google form.